So this week marks my biggest loss, biggest win, and it also marks back-to-back-to-back green months. And with this in mind, I can now feel confident enough to say that I can do what 95% of other traders can't. I can be consistently profitable. And how did I get there? That's the main question that everyone wants to kind of ask. What's the secret? What do you do that others don't do? And I can tell you, it's really simple. I made trading my life. I cut out friends to study, and in any and all of my spare time, I did this. And that means it's video lessons before work and after work, anywhere, anytime, from trains to planes. Trading needs to be like oxygen. It needs to be around you at all times. And you don't need to reinvent the wheel here. You need to find out what other people are doing who are good and just copy their styles. Add a little bit of your own personal touch that matches your personality. And I learned from some greats. I copied Roland, Brittany, Bowen, Sykes, God. And that's how you really learn. But more importantly, or equally as importantly, you need a vision. It's not a surprise to me that I'm profitable after 12 months after joining the challenge. Like, I expected it. I foresaw it every fucking morning waking up. I knew it. This vision was as clear as fucking day and night for me for the entire period. And in another 12 months, I won't be making hundreds a week. It will be thousands. And yeah, I fucking mean it. And I was wrote off before, and I proved every motherfucker wrong. So doubt me a second time, I fucking dare you. Hard work pays, always. And luck favors the fucking brave. And in 12 months, bon voyage, hasta luego, arrivederci, I'm done in the next 12 months, and I'm planning a trip around the world, and I'm not coming back. But what about you? Like, are you studying endlessly? Have you invested in education? When was the last time you tracked and recorded data on a specific trade or Excel? Like, what about your friends? Are your friends a higher priority than your self-development? Do you kind of want this? Or can you not breathe without it? This game is fucking real, this shit is real, and it's you versus you. So you need to start thinking of yourself as a fucking team. And there's no I in team, so if you truly want to live the dream, you need to work fucking hard. Every day, every fucking hour. And here's the profit and loss, and I mean, honestly, it's not too bad. I mean, me winning average is sitting around the 60s. Despite the fact that I took a $900 loss, I'm still up 700 on the month, so that's like, I would have been up 1600 had I not been long, eh? It's crazy. But I'll take the 3 profitable months in a row. And I think being green consecutively 3 months in a row, you've always got to look back and think, where was I 3 months ago? I was constantly losing. Where am I now? Complete, consistent green months, 3 in a row. And I just think cut out going longs and really focus on shorts. I'm not with Trade Zero anymore. I'm done with them. And just build your account. My IB account is 15,000 right now. I want to get it to 25. I think there's no reason why, if you, say for example, you make 3 trades and you cut your losses at $500 and your profit should be 1,000. So I'm taking maybe $15,000, $20,000 positions. But providing you're going to be right more than 2 out of 3 times, because the short winning strategy, you're right generally 70% of the time anyway. So that means that if I'm taking two $1,000 profits, that's 2,000, and then I lose 500 on the time that it doesn't work, that's 1,500. That's $1,500 a week, which is 6 grand a month, which means I'll be over PDT in a month and a half by early 2019, and that's the plan. That's the plan. I've got the consistency, I've got the strategy. It's all about sizing up. So this is LMFA, and this is the 1 year chart. So, I mean, on 1 year, it's got a lot of resistance in the 430s. And just before I go into this, I just want to say how grateful and thankful I am to have become a consistently profitable trader, so I can share these learning experiences with you guys. It's so moving, and sometimes it's almost like, it can almost bring me to tears. It's such a great experience. But big resistance in the 430s, and yes, this is my biggest loss ever. And I was buying it, I was thinking, what I often see is stocks that push in the morning, come down, you wait for the double bottom, and then they'll squeeze into the close. And this is what I was watching for, except what you've got to think is it's got resistance in the 430s, one bad thing. It never holds its spikes, big wick, big wick, big wick, big wick. And another bad thing. And its long-term chart is obviously not a very good one. It's a downtrend long-term chart. So really you shouldn't be dip buying stocks that don't hold the spikes, but I was a bit annoyed about another stock, so I just went for it. And I was watching for the double bottom. I made the double bottom here. It was curling up, a little bit of volume come in, so I was buying on around the 4s. So I was buying in here because it had higher low, higher low, higher low. It had this kind of nice uptrend, and I thought this could squeeze shorts into the close. It's a low float. It's already shown that it can go from the 2s to the 5s. It might do it again. And in hindsight, it's not the most terrible trade. When it double bottoms here, it's a nice entry in the 4s. But what I did that made the loss so big is I thought it was going to run to the 6s, so I bought in the 4s, bought in the 410s, 420s, 430s. And then when it collapsed, I didn't cut it, and it went all the way down to the 350s, and I cut it in the 350s. And in hindsight, maybe you want to be getting in. I think around here is not bad when a little bit of volume comes in around the 370s. But I should have never added and chased it up. I should have took a position at 4, sold into the 430s, which is your long-term resistance. And you shouldn't really be buying to scalp, because these little scalps, I'll buy it at 4 and I'll take 420. They end up getting you in more trouble, because look, I ended up losing $1,000 trying to make 60 or 50 or whatever. So don't buy it when it's got long-term resistance ahead. And obviously the next day it ran to 6. I had about $3,000 in it, 4,000. If it literally went from 4 to 6, it would have been a $2,000 profit trade had I been perfect. But it's not the point. The point is I didn't cut me loss. I broke the rules. It's why would you dip buy a stock with a history of failing to spike? Why would you buy a stock in resistance in the 430s? And as punishment, I'm not doing longs anymore. So SRAX is an interesting one, and it's my biggest win to date as well, 640 or whatever it was. But the reason I'm short biased on this, you might be like, Stephen, why are you short biased when Bitcoin's at, you can see here it's at pretty much all-time highs at 8,000 per coin. And I say, yep, that is a strong catalyst for Bitcoin, and this company is related to Bitcoin in some way, I think. But it's got heavy resistance here, around the 7s. It's got heavy resistance around the 7s. It can't seem to break it and never has been able to break it. And the other thing is, like, say, let's go on a 2-month chart now. The stock has been up like 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row now, and generally stocks some don't live past 3 days on a spiking list like this. Some don't make it past, they definitely don't make it past 4 generally, because buyers need to take profits. Some, like people who are long, have to take profits. Swing traders have to take profits. And when you take profits, there will be a pullback. Shorts will be looking at it up 4 days and think, I'm going to start shorting this soon. It's up too much too soon. It needs to consolidate. And when it consolidates, generally, the first sign is a pullback or a red day. So I am catching this front side of the move, which is a bit scary. But I'm thinking, right, fine, scary things. It's Bitcoin and Bitcoin's running. That's one thing. But let's look at the other indicators. It's kind of at its multi-year resistance level. So that's one good, one bad. The other thing is it's up 4 days. So that's 2 bad, 1 good. And the third thing is it's failing pre-market already. So that's like 3 bad, 1 good. So I'm thinking, I've got quite a few things on my site here that says that this stock is going to pull back today. So, I mean, I've got my interactive brokers up here somewhere, have I? Yeah. So interactive brokers, so I was starting in at trade price. I mean, average looks to be around the 670s, 660s. My main position was in the 650s, that's a bit low. But let's say the 650s, 660s, and I was out in the 620s. So I was shorting, when I saw this pop down, it popped back up, and then it kind of double topped here. We saw that, let's get the old line tool out. We had a it kind of say this was the first kind of bounce. It didn't come back to make its highs. Bounced again here, but this is not really a significant bounce. So when it dropped and it was popping back up, I think I was chasing it down a little bit. To be honest, I shouldn't have been chasing it down this much, but I was shorting the 650s, 660s, 670s, and then when it topped here, I was like, this is a double top pre-market. I've got 4 positive indicators, 1 negative indicator. This looks like it's a good short now. And where would I've cut it? Probably high up day. I don't know, to be honest. But and honestly, this was coming back from brunch. I was drunk. I shouldn't have been doing this. I've lost a bit of discipline recently. But dropped, and then it dropped all the way to the 590s in the morning. I was out in the 620s. But again, it's when you're looking pre-market, this looks like nothing, but you've got to try and identify the pattern that's forming. So dropped, couldn't bounce properly. Dropped, kind of, it got a bit above, but not really. So you shorten into this with all the other long-term indicators. It's failed 4 days. It's been up 4 days. It's at multi-year resistance. It can't get back to its pre-market highs. This is where you can, when this red candle comes in here, this is exactly the perfect entry for me. Where it's kind of double topped, it can't get back to its highs. This candle that's 854 is what I'm thinking. This is really, it's short bias. I'm gonna short the momentum here, and that's if you're getting in the 7s, and then you're getting out in the 6s. That's a good 10%. If you're betting 10 grand, that's $1,000 trade right there. Thanks a lot, and obviously I didn't kind of go over the losses. I think the reason that the biggest loss happened, well, I know, is because I was trading, I was exhausted, I was a bit frustrated, and I just slipped up. I mean, technically, my technical analysis is spot on. Spotting problems and opportunities is spot on. Just a bit of frustration and sized it a bit too big, and it was a long, so not really bothered about it, to be honest. I wasn't really that affected by losing nearly $1,000 in a single trade in 2 minutes. But if anything, I mean, to still have the $700 profit, to have this and to still make the $700 and have my biggest loss ever is a really good accomplishment, I think, and it really gives me the validation and reassurance that I'm going to make much more. But when you make a mistake like this, you've got to think, well, how do I make sure it doesn't happen again? So I'm changing behaviors. So I'm sticking to under the PDT, 3 trades a week, trading the best 3 trades to avoid over trading. And I am going to spend the time that I'm not trading tracking data in Excel's looking for the next big pattern that I can profit from, because generally I'll make $300 in the morning and then I'll be fighting for another 100 throughout the day, and then I'm exhausted. So there's no point. I'd rather just trade the mornings while I'm in this Dubai time zone, which is like 6:30 till 10. Better off trade the morning and be done. So that's the plan. You've got to do what suits you, and that's the message. Like I'm not Roland. I won't ever be Roland. Might make as much as him, but I don't know, because he's having 40k days these days. But you've got to do what's right for you, and I don't need to be making 40k in a day. I just want to make a couple of k in a day and travel around the fucking world tapping bitches. Do you know what I mean? So do what's right for you. Tell me what you want to be like. What's your role model? Or just do what's right for you. So I know that, so I can see people watching the videos, because it's cool. I see like certain people go through every single one and they write the word at the end, and it's really nice. So I'll leave you that. Comment, do what's right for you, live the fucking dream.